Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Art History Fun with Dr. Brian. I'm Brian Zygmunt, professor of art history at Mount St. Mary's University. And today we have another request coming from a buddy of mine at Clark University, Lauren Rice. Lauren wanted to hear a little bit about Edward Hopper's 1942 painting, Nighthawks. Well, Lauren, hold my pocket pair of aces. It's Edward Hopper time. Edward Hopper is an excellent example of an American regionalist painter. In this way, he's painting maybe during the middle third of the 20th century, and he's most well known for painting kind of urban landscapes, if we can use that phrase, that depicts often quiet moments of solitude or loneliness. Nighthawks is perhaps the best known example of this. As the title makes clear, we have a scene that happens at night. It's evening time, maybe early morning, and the local environment is completely illuminated by the electric lights emanating out of this diner. You can see that the large glass windows that surround it on the corner, including a cigar advertisement on the top. And what we have are four people in this diner, but there's a kind of isolation about it. We have a couple sitting facing us, a man in a dark suit, a fedora and a tie who's holding a cigarette in one of his hands, and then a woman in a red blouse who is bringing a piece of sandwich up to her mouth. Now, I must tell you, I've been looking at this painting for 2 decades. I've never really understood what it was she was holding, because there's no plate in front of her. So if there were food, you would expect there to be a plate. But one of the interesting things about this painting is that Hopper's wife, Jo, who is actually the model for this sitter, kept meticulous notes about all of his paintings. And one of the things she chronicles is that this woman is holding a bite of food. There are 2 coffee cups next to them, and they sit in facing the viewer, where there's another man whose back is towards us. He's sitting there by himself, and even the man who's working at the diner in front of these 2 gigantic industrial urns of coffee seem to be by themselves. If we focus our attention on the couple again, they're facing straight ahead. She's focused on her food, I suppose. He's dazing off into space. And if you look at their hands, they almost, but don't quite touch. This painting, for me at least, has a sense of isolation and loneliness about it. And I think this is one of the really interesting points of Hopper's painting. This painting was done in New York City. New York City, even in 1942, is filled with millions of people. There's no shortage of humanity in New York City in 1942. But I think what Hopper is commenting on is, although there might be people, is there truly connection? I mean, here we have 4 people in a small space, and there doesn't seem to be any interaction, any sense of connection about them. And when I look at this painting, there's a kind of loneliness or isolation about it. And I think Hopper is commenting about the loneliness and isolation of the contemporary urban world. Although this is Hopper's most well-known painting, he was also a watercolorist, did engravings, and is one of the real seminal figures of the American regionalist period. In this regard, he's joined by people like Grant Wood, who painted a particular part of the American world. For Grant Wood, that was the American Midwest. But for someone like Hopper, this was the loneliness of the American urban landscape. Big shout out to my buddy Lauren for the recommendation. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Everyone else, thanks for sticking around. Happy to take requests. If you've enjoyed this content, share or like or do whatever silly things people do. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Take care.